to our special meeting. This special meeting is to vote to override a possible budget veto and to conduct other general business. I call this meeting to order. Mr. Hammond, please note that all members of council are here. Our solicitor, Ms. Wilder, is here, and our controller, Mr. Glazer, is here. Mr. Hanlon, our action item. Mr. Hanlon, would you please read Bill 75 into the record?
Bill 75, amend an ordinance of the City of Allentown, County of Lehigh County, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing the general fund for 2017 as amended on November 30th and December 7th.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I will make a motion. I will make a motion to override the mayor's veto of Bill 75. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
We have a second. Thank you for that. Thank you. All in favor of an override of the mayor's veto? Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have a second from Mr. Hendricks, and obviously by common consent, we'll move forward. So move. Okay. Bill 75, again, the motion is to override the mayor's veto of Bill 75. At this time, I'll ask any members of council for comments concerning the override of Bill 75. Ms. Apple, go ahead.
I have a statement I'd like to read tonight. This is my first budget, and it has been a learning process. I appreciate the effort my colleagues, city staff, and Mayor Pulaski have put into the budget. I was hoping that a compromise could be worked out before we got to this evening. We have a general fund in front of us that has amendments that I support and some I do not support. However, I had to vote on the entire package and decided to vote no on the amendments. I will go along with my colleagues tonight, but make the following note, that going forward, we need to hammer out some compromises. On the account 46, we need to make sure staff has the allocation needed to work in an efficient manner, and this includes council. I want to work in the direction of having fewer transfers to sign and budget amendments to make. We need to work out a compromise going forward. On overtime, if the chief and directors tell us we need overtime, I prefer not to second guess them. When it comes to budget allocations for overtime, we need to make sure staff and the resources, that they have the resources they need. I will do everything to ensure this. The Community and Economic Development Department needs a director. The mayor offered a suggestion during our attempts to compromise. He suggested putting together a committee to select a director and a managing director. We need to do this. The mayor needs the tools to make this city operate. I think we need to get past this tonight and start communicating more effectively and be more accountable in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Apple. Appreciate your comments. Anybody else? Mr. Breedy, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to make sure that we work together closer, administration, mayor, and council. Unfortunately, that's not the case at this point. I tried working a compromise yesterday afternoon, and unfortunately that didn't happen either. So I look forward to passing this time and going to another era, and hopefully as we move forward, we can look on common ground, for example, selecting committees, so we can look at other several departments, like the Community Economic Development Department and others, and working with the mayor and working with the council to make sure that we do the best we can for our residents. This is not about politics, it's not about the mayor, not about city council, it's about the city. And we gotta keep that in mind. It's about the residents of Allentown, and it's about how we can make their lives a little better.
Thank you, Mr. Greedy. Any other comments from my colleagues? Dr. McGuire, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council and city staff and the mayor have put a lot of time into this budget process, and I'd like to make clear, at least from my point of view, that the idea that there is a feud going on diminishes what is really going on. This is an effort by means of a lot of interchanges and getting advice on how to make the budget, how to run the city government, what are the responsibilities of the co-equal mayor, council relationship, and through this process, difficult as it has been, is to clarify the way in which these changes that might necessarily be made even into the future in the charter and so on. This is about helping to define what presently is understood to be the charter. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McGuire. Any other comments from my colleagues?
I have one.
Mr. Hendricks, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be very short and brief on this and state that Council President Ray O'Connell and myself spent numerous hours back and forth. It was not by a lack of effort on our part that we did not come to a conclusion on this. We both worked the best efforts we could for the best interest of the city of Allentown. Unfortunately, that did not work out. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hendricks, any other comments from my colleagues? Seeing no other comments from my colleagues, I will now open up to the public. Comments from the public on Bill 75, to override Bill 75, the mayor's veto on Bill 75. Any comments from the public? Seeing none. Mr. Mayor, comment?
I just am amazed that you all talk about your servitude for the benefit of the city. This will hurt the city. As I've talked about, I have worked and I provided a number of compromises over the course of the last several days. Those compromises have been ignored in most part by the majority of city council. I'm disappointed if you override this veto because Mr. McGuire is correct. This goes to the overall governance of the city. And what you're trying to do is change the charter and change the way the rules are laid out in the charter through the budgetary process. It's going to be, you're making it almost impossible for the administration to run the city with the changes that you're putting forth. You're making it difficult for city staff to perform their jobs with the cuts that you're making. And it's amazing to me that after 12 years, no one ever tried to use the budgetary process as political bargaining chips. And to do that now, I think is really, quite honestly, a shame.
No, there's no comment. There's no comment, please.
It's sad that the people of the city are getting the short end of a political battle here that I don't even understand why it actually currently exists, because we did talk about compromises. I made significant compromises and concessions addressing every single issue that you folks brought up, at least the ones that were able to communicate those issues. And the fact that we're sitting here tonight and you're looking to override this veto, knowing full well that it'll have a detrimental effect on the city, on the staff, and on the operations. Quite honestly, it's a sad day for the city of Allentown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, any other comments from the public? Seeing none. Ms. Wall, I'm going to ask you to give us the exact wording of the vote about overriding the mayor's veto of Bill 75. I think that's the way we say it.
Are you asking me what your motion is?
Well,
You've already made the motion.
we already made the motion. I just want to make sure that people are understanding a yes vote and a no vote.
All right. Based on the way the motion was worded, a yes vote would be a vote to override the veto. A no vote would be a vote not to override the veto.
Thank you, Ms. Wall, for clarification. Unbelievable. Mr. Hanlon, please call the vote. A yes vote is to override the veto, a no vote is to not override the veto. Mr. Hanlon, please call the roll.
Okay, on Bill 75 to override the veto, Ms. Affa.
Yes.
Mr. Greedy.
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. McGuire.
Yes.
Ms. Moda.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell.
Yes. And the override carries. This meeting is adjourned.